So if you want to be a top producing life insurance agent, you need to watch this video. I'm going to introduce you to Mason. Before joining our agency, Legacy Family Life, he was a full-time mechanic and he joined other previous IMOs, but he never got the results that he was looking for as a life insurance agent. Now today, he's going to reveal his secrets on how exactly in 30 days, you can see right here, he sold over $50,298 of final expense life insurance all over the phone, calling, closing. So he went from being a part-time life insurance agent to giving up his full-time career as a mechanic to absolutely crushing as a life insurance agent. And today, he's going to give you the secret sauce, the keys on the script, the objection handling, the leads, the systems that you need to give you the courage to potentially go all in as a life insurance agent. Or most importantly, if you just want to succeed as a life insurance agent in 2025, this video is going to help you absolutely crush it. So let's go ahead and let's meet Mason. So yeah, I wanted to jump into it. I know that your first, I believe your first 30 days as an agent with us, you sold 40K, and then we're here today to talk about last month. You did 50,000 in premium. So the first thing I want to talk about is really how did you become an agent where you were able to hit the ground running really quickly? I think that was something I noticed really awesome from your success early on was like you didn't have a lot of time to ramp up. You worked really hard, but you were able to like ramp up pretty quickly. So just kind of take me through your like first, 30 days or so.
Yeah.
Because that kind of was a pivotal part. So walk me through how you went from going, from doing this part-time, you were a mechanic before, to
Yeah.
going full-time. So what was that like?
Yeah. So I guess the first 30 days here, or I guess you mean like the first 30 days just starting out as a new agent.
Yeah,
Um,
once you work with us, because
right.
I think that's where you started to really grow. But like what was your plan when your first 30 days is like working with us that helped you like learn quickly?
Right. I think, you know, I came in here being an automotive technician
Yeah.
12 years. So I was trying to figure out how to be an agent part-time for the past 1 year, I'd say. I've been licensed over a year now, which is awesome. But just trying to figure it out from there. And then I was working with another agency doing it part time. Thankfully, I had that opportunity. I learned a
Yep.
lot there, and I was able to kind of bring some of those skills that I learned there to here. Although I did want to come in here as a blank slate to
Sure.
learn how we do things with the process here. So the first 30 days, I think, I just came in and just was coachable and working with Brian. He's a very intelligent, very smart trainer there. So I learned a lot from him, just learned a lot from everybody here. But the main thing really is just, coming in and just learning how you guys do things here and then just implementing that. So, things like just showing up and putting in the work. A lot of hours went into it for sure.
Yeah.
So hopefully that answered the question there.
Yeah, I know
Um,
one thing. I remember when you were interviewing for the role, you're like, I need to make sure that you guys have good systems. Like, I think
yeah.
that's I think that was probably one of the biggest fears is like, I want to make sure I have really good systems that I have because I'm taking this jump going full time. So, what were some of the systems that you think maybe that you now know that an agent needs to have if they want to like sell 50,000 in a month or sell
Right.
40,000 a month, like you're always doing? So, what would that look like for an agent?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, with what we have here, we have some really amazing systems in place with the dialer. That's a big one. I mean, it's very efficient. So I'm sure somebody could still sell 50,000 just hand dialing, but it's very helpful to be able
Sure.
to use something that's, AI intelligent, I guess, and also just that's so quick to dial leads and disposition it. So things like that, and then just the other systems, just the actual CRM. Not that you really, I'd say you need one, but I mean, if you want to sell 50K and um, get to the next level there, I'd say just having that as well, and then the other systems like the sales process in general.
Do
Um,
you do you think that you could do 50K with like because you don't have to do any customer service work. We have like the customer service team.
right.
You think it'd be hard to do that 50K and customer service work, or like do you feel like that
Oh,
would be you'd be able to still hit those results?
No, it would be really difficult because that takes out a lot of time in your day, especially when you're having to service policies. People aren't making their first payment or they miss a payment. It takes
Mhm.
so much time out of your day to have to wait on hold, like with customer service, have to reach out
Yeah.
to the client to try to get a hold of them. I mean, a lot of times you some cases you won't be able to get a hold of them even if you sold them, and it's like having the customer care team in place to be able to do that and you know almost dial as much as we do as agents on a daily basis just to try to get a hold of them and let's say get them back on the books or just service their policy in general. Yeah, I don't think I would be able to hit 50K unless I was selling, $300 a month premiums.
Sure.
Um, so it would be really difficult, I'd say. I'm sure people have done it, but I don't know how like consistent you could be with that and how sustainable that is because I mean, just previously before I was here, not having that customer care team in place, I was pretty stressed. I was like, how can I, focus on selling when, maybe you can get away with it for a couple weeks, but then when you have to service the clients that you just sold, in the next week, they didn't make their first payment. I mean, that's going to take out a lot of your time.
Mhm.
So it's pretty difficult to be able to do 50K, I'd say, with having to service your own clients. So
Yeah. Did you expect, like, coming into the new industry, like life insurance, that especially final expense, did you expect, this is kind of like off topic, did you expect that it would be like a lot of that service work? Because I didn't know about it when I first just started. I was like, oh, you just sell and you just get paid. Like, were you familiar with like the amount of time or effort that it took to be able to fulfill? So you sell and then have to fulfill it. Like, how did that
right.
impact things for you when you first started?
Yeah, I had no idea. It took me a while to figure out this whole, I guess, industry, just selling final expense in general, but I had no idea that I would have to, service them. I thought maybe you just sell it, you get paid, but what they, I guess, you're not really disclosed is like you get an advance and you have to keep them on the books. So they have to make their payment every
Yeah.
month. So you'll have to keep up with them. I mean, some people maybe they'll make their payment the first month, the second month, but third month something happens, and then you have how many policies you sold, let's say 50, and you have to service however many that don't
Mhm.
place. So yeah, I had no idea that I would be a customer care representative, I guess, almost like a debt collector at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure that's
Yeah.
difficult. When it comes to, like, your day-to-day, like, how you close 50K, like, walk us through a little bit of, like, a typical day, and then even, like, some of your KPIs. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I wanna replicate what Mason's doing, okay? Let's say
Right.
I have leads, I have a system, I have a CRM, but what do I need to do? So walk me through a little bit of your day there.
Yeah. So I just start my day off just like any regular, job, just showing up here, my time zone. It's a little bit different, just the way, you guys are in a different time zone, different agents, different time zones. My
Sure.
day starts off 5 a.m. I wake up 5 a.m., which is, when I get my day started. Then I'll take my dogs out and I'll hit the gym. I'll try to just because I feel like staying active
Mhm.
and fit and exercising, especially for me in the morning, it kind of just wakes me up and it helps me be more sharp when I'm, having to sell and be on the phones all day and
Yeah.
also just with energy in general. But I'd say I start, you know, dialing training 7 in the morning. But then I'll just start hitting the phones, let's say 8 o'clock, like once all the pre-training is done there with my team and you in general. And
Yeah.
then from there I'll just dial until I get somebody on the phones and then just push through, of course. And then from there, I'll work, until noon, and then I'll take a lunch, take my dogs out from there, try to keep it under an hour, and then from there just come back and just get locked in, and then just
Yeah.
keep dialing again, and pretty much Monday through Saturday is what I shoot for. I haven't felt like I need to work all day Saturday, just performing as well as I have been
Sure.
Monday through Friday. But if I need to, I'll work all day Saturday if I didn't hit my goal, and even a Sunday. Thankfully, I haven't had to work a Sunday since I've been here, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, I think it's just showing up and just putting in a lot of hours. I think like 10, 12 hour days. I mean, with some short breaks here and there. So that's just kind
Yeah.
of what it looks like.
Yeah, how does it? There's two questions that come from there. Number one is like because you're right at like 10,000 AP for the week.
Mhm.
What are some KPIs that you focus on? Like, hey, I need to do. Is it like certain amount of presentations you're looking for? Like
Yeah.
internally, what's kind of like your metrics that you're shooting for every day? Or
Yeah. I think like especially activity standard, at least being here or maybe anywhere, it's like minimum of 250 dials. And I try to push for more if I can. And then also however many hours of talk time, like 4 or 5 hours, maybe try to shoot for more. But as long as you're hitting that, you shouldn't have any reason, to not be able to, you know, hit your goals or hit whatever you're trying to hit for the week. So yeah, I just focus on that. Just dials, contacts, of course. Like
yeah,
I try to do like 15 to 20 contacts and 5 presentations minimum a day,
yeah,
which is very doable if you're putting in 250 minimum dials and if not more. Some days I'm putting in less. Some days like I think this week there are some days I put in 100 dials and I made 2 or 3 cells.
hmm
Other weeks I'll put in 500 dials and I'll make 1 cell for the day, and that's just how it is sometimes. But
yeah.
yeah, that's what I do.
That's cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's cool perspective. Like despite some days are less effort, deals come. Some days are massive effort. It just all kind of compounds and comes together. When it comes to just curiously, like I'm interested, how's the transition been for you going from like full time, auto tech hands on guy to going into life insurance full time? What's been the hardest thing to kind of get used to?
um, I guess to start with, over the past year, trying to figure this all out. Of course, I wasn't ever willing to give up because I was pretty burnout of being a mechanic. Although, I enjoyed it for a little while. I did it a long time. I learned a very great skill set, but at the end of the day, I was just like I was completely done with it. I was wanting to get into something new, so I found life insurance, and of course, I was recruited into the MLM, which I didn't get too far into until I was like
Sure.
trying to figure out like how this actually works and then which route to take from there. And you know, my hopes and dreams kind of got shut down a little bit after finding out I was in a recruiting model, which
Sure.
I was unfortunate, but I was motivated and determined to figure out like how I could make it here. So I guess let me go back to the question here because
Hardest
you
part.
asked that. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think it's just the belief of in the beginning, like, is this actually legitimate career path?
Mm,
Can I actually provide for my family? Can this actually be like, can I be consistent? Can I make a good income off of it? Although it is sold in the industry that you can, but very few agents make it.
mhm.
It
Yeah.
was just, I guess, overcoming that limiting the belief for myself. Like I have no experience in sales.
Mhm.
Being I did automotive, for as long as I did, but I did have a very strong work ethic. And from whatever career that I've ever had, I've always kind of started at the bottom and worked my way to the top.
Yeah.
And the way I was able to do that is just like relentless, just like putting in the work.
Yeah.
So just showing up and then just like days were hard, and that's just kind of how it is with this. So I was able to take those skills and my work ethic from other jobs that I've had previously and just kind of transition it over into being an agent and then just
Oh, cool.
giving it my all. Like I was able to make it with the other industries that I went, and started at the bottom, worked my way to the top, and that's kind of my same mindset coming over to something like this. So it was definitely hard, and at first I was like, I don't know, like if I could do this, like trying to do the broker model, and that was pretty difficult. Of course, a lot of people, I'm sure some people make it, but most of them fell out for that reason. I mean, it's very expensive, especially this day and age, and it's not very sustainable, especially as a beginner, I'd say. So very difficult to do that. But I was just looking for another way, which was the free lead model, which you offer it. Some other agencies out there offer it, and from there, I was just like, okay, which one do I, join? Which I joined a few, but nothing compared to, of course, this experience. But yeah, it was very difficult and just going from what I knew with working on cars, fixing cars for as long as I did, and
Mhm.
jumping into a completely new industry while having started a new family. I have, my wife, which she just out of work. We just had our baby. So that was pretty stressful and difficult,
Sure.
like figuring out how can I just jump in from this career to this career and not have any experience, So
Yeah, that's
um,
massive.
yeah.
And you found a way, man. That's a really good segue. Actually, I'm curious because, like, what happens if I'm like, if I'm a school teacher or I am an electrician right now? What would you say that this, like, just three skills that you would need if you want to transition from being like in a different profession to going into life insurance
hmm
that you would need to like make that transition? What would be like the skills that you would need to have?
Right. Um, if a skill set is just like work ethic in general, I think that's
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
big one.
Yeah, work
Um,
ethic.
yeah, just like just being determined there and a strong work ethic and
Mhm.
just like giving everything you got, even if you don't know anything about it, and just like doing a ton of research on it. Of course, I mean, that'll only get you so far, but the biggest other skill, like I had no experience in sales before coming here, but
Sure.
I got some reps in with the previous agency that I work with. So I guess just maybe trying to figure out how to learn the skill set of sales,
Yeah.
which is, like I said, it's very difficult to just learn it by watching YouTube videos and things, but maybe you can learn some things, but you're more of going to learn how to sell just by doing it
Doing it.
and
What,
learning. Yeah.
sorry, what soft skills in your process were like, kind of cut you off there, to like learn the sales process was the hardest part? Because you obviously put in the work, but like work ethic alone, if I don't know how to communicate, what do you think
Mhm.
would be this communication skill that you'd have to learn? Would it be like I have to learn how to ask questions, or like the tonality, or like the mirroring? What was like the one thing that you like, that's how you eventually kind of put it all together? Anything kind of click for you there?
Yeah, I think biggest thing is just the tonality side of things and how you ask questions. Yeah, so that's a huge one there, like a soft skill, being empathetic when you need to be, and also curious at certain points,
Yeah.
and even the mirroring. Like I'm still trying to master the process. Like I'm still learning every single day. Like it's not as easy as I guess it's laid out to be. It takes a long time, I'd say, to build up that skill set of the
Super neat.
sales process in general. Yeah. So
How would
just
you how would you teach me how to learn? Like, let's say I'm coming in, let's say I work at the same auto mechanic shop, but
mm,
I have the same work ethic as you, and you're like, "Dude, you just have to learn tonality." Like, what do you
right.
think the best way would be for someone to learn the tonality? Would it be like watch videos? Would it be like role playing? Like, how
Yeah.
do you feel like someone's listening right now and they struggle with tonality, and
mhm,
if they just did this, they'd probably get better. What do you think that would be?
Yeah. I mean, watching certain videos, like I think a lot of the sales process that we have in place here is like a lot of NEP or NEPQ
Sure.
techniques, right?
Mhm.
So it's like watching that. A big one is role playing because you can, watch videos all day, but if you don't actually, do it, then you're not going to maybe get better at tonality. So
Yeah.
doing that, listening to your calls if you have a way to record your calls, maybe just on a voice memo, and just role playing in general. Being coached is a big one by somebody that has already, proven to do it, just like Brian, just like yourself. So, Brian is our new agent sales trainer, and he is next level at what he does. And he's only been doing it, like a year, 2 years now. But
Yeah, you guys.
just working with somebody like that, and I guess just role playing in general, that's a huge one, and actually doing it. Because you can listen to people, like I said, do it all day, but if you don't do it yourself, then you're never going to get better at it, I'd say. So that's what
What's
I'd say.
Yeah, that I love that. I think a lot of agents don't get enough feedback, and you can get that feedback from the role playing section. So I appreciate
Mhm.
you sharing that. Gives me a lot of validation on like how to train the right way. What is one thing that you've maybe learned about yourself, or something that you're really proud of in this short stint, that maybe you just take a second, like, man, I didn't think I could do that. Anything come to
Yeah.
mind? Like, what is one thing that you're really proud of?
Um, I think I'm overall just proud of myself in general. Like I always thought I was pretty decent with people.
Mhm.
and I had a pretty uplifting spirit, I guess you could say, or just like positive outlook, or just the way I talk. Like I'm just try to be like I enlighten other people, just make them feel like good, just like yourself, Peter.
Sure, sure, sure.
But I'd say just um, I didn't know if I could actually do this, to be honest, like for the longest time, and now I'm starting to, come to the realization that I can, and I've proven that I can, of course, and I'm starting to see some consistency there. So I think just overall, um, just selling in general, like I didn't think at first like I would be able to do it, and now I've done it. So I'm proud of myself for that. If that
Yeah.
answered your question.
No, absolutely. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
the fact that you were able to overcome your previous, like, uncertainty of, like, "Man, am I actually gonna do this?" to
Mhm.
actually getting some results, be like, "Okay, maybe I got it." And, I'm sure you
Yep.
still feel that way, like, that uncertainty, it's not gonna go away. That's I think that, uncertainty is what makes you great. It's like, "I gotta keep pushing, I gotta keep proving myself," and that's what you do every single day. So,
Mhm.
I'm really proud of how you always show up. When it comes to, um thinking about previously, okay, so if you were at, let's say, what was your best month? Maybe 20,000 in the business before us?
Um, if that, yeah,
Okay.
if
So
that
let's say
part time.
20,000, yeah, 15 or 20,000 a month. What would be the one thing that you said, like, that would help you get to 50,000? Would it be you need to get better lead flow? If you had to pick one, better lead flow, I need better training, or I need to figure out how to overcome objections. What
Hmm.
out of those three, which one do you think would create the highest amount of leverage to help you get to 50K? Better lead flow,
Right.
better objection handling, or what was the third one?
Better objection handling. Wow, that I feel like
Lead
all three of them really. But if I had to choose one, I guess you said like the training and
training. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
yeah. Oh, that one's a hard to decide on. I mean, I'll kind of just go into each individual one, but I think training kind of stands out the most just because if you have that skill set of the sales process
Mhm.
in general, then you should be able to, if you do it the right way, you should be able to close that much, in a month.
Yeah.
But having the lead flow, especially like the high intent ones that we have here, I'd say, compared to what I've experienced in the past. I mean, there's even times now, like as high intent as they are, like it's not always a lead problem, of course. But if it's like a bait and switch lead, then there may be a little problem
Sure.
there. I'm sure you could still close them, but maybe you wouldn't close as many of them.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just the objection handling. That's a huge one, especially like intro objections, overcoming
Mhm.
um, the smoke screens, which you hear pretty much every call. Like someone could just fill out a lead, it's a brand new lead, and they literally tell you 5 seconds later, like, never mind, like I changed my mind. And you're like, wait, what? That was, you just filled this out 5 minutes ago. And then,
Yeah.
especially like back end intros when, someone's giving you, I need to think about it objection, or, I need to talk to my spouse objection. I feel like all three of those, to be honest with you, Peter, like they're super necessary. Like you kind of need all of those
Yeah.
to be able to get to that level.
Mhm.
Which I'm still working on myself. Like objections, I say is like still trying to master that. The whole process in general with discovery and things. But yeah,
Do
those
you
are
find that you
all
still get
beneficial.
them? Do you find no, I appreciate that. They're all hand in hand.
Mhm.
Do you find that you're still getting objections in the close, or do you feel like your discovery has gotten to a place where you're asking questions the correct way with the right tonality, as you talked about earlier, that mitigate
Mhm.
prevent objections? Or do you feel like it's 50-50, one out of two people typically give me an objection? Like, what would your analysis be on that?
I mean, the way that our script, I would say, is designed, I get very little objections.
Mhm.
Um, and not everybody is the same. There's different personality types, but different people have different goals in
Mhm.
mind. Some people may or may not have coverage. So, sometimes I get objections with certain things, but compared to what I've experienced in the past, I get very little objections.
Okay.
Just the way that I'd say we have the discovery in the script. Although, there are times, I mean, you're not going to sell everybody, of
Right.
course, but I would say we definitely get a lot less objections on the back end, particularly, because of the discovery that we have.
Hmm.
Um, and just kind of going deep on the actual pain and the need, and just finding their clear why. I very, often, or not very often, I don't get a lot of objections with banking. I need to think about it. I need to talk to my spouse. I get them here and there, of course,
Sure.
but just the way we have everything, it's just like, it's crazy how many,
Cool.
like, I barely have people hang up on me. Like with banking, there's always times you'll get a social objections, but it's not frequent, to be honest. So
That's great. Yeah, I love that. I appreciate it. When you were kind of sharing that, gives me two thoughts that I'm really excited about sharing. It's that's really neat because I think if you are getting a lot of objections, what I just heard from you is like that means your discovery or your ability to ask questions is probably needs to improve, which is something that you can improve on as well.
mhm.
You touched on 2 points that are really important as I'm taking notes. Personality type. Okay, what have you learned about personality type? This is like the deep stuff here. What are the two types of personalities? How would you characterize them? And then how do you change your process to, you know,
Yeah,
close them?
right. To be honest, I'm still learning how to sell one over the other. But
Okay.
there's kind of two different types. I mean, there's sweet old Miss Betty, and then
Mhm.
there's straight shooter Mr. Bob. So there's definitely two different ways. I think tonality plays a big part in how you
Mhm.
address each individual. So with Miss Betty, you're just going to be nice, kind, and sweet and empathetic, and you're going to be able to go a lot deeper, I'd say, on the discovery portion of it,
Yeah.
and asking, empathetically, I guess, certain questions, like, what is their family going to have to do, and just kind of being very soft spoken with
Yep.
them, and just very slow through the process. And I feel like the difference between that and like a straight shooter Bob is like they want it they
Quote.
don't want to go through discovery. In most cases, you have to be more stern, I'd say, with them.
Yeah.
Maybe not disrespectful or come off a certain way, but you have to be kind of blunt in a way with those
Sure.
type of prospects, I'd say. But I'm still trying to figure out like which one I'm better at selling. I'm sure I have a strong suit compared to one over the other at this current point in time, but I'm going to try to master both of them. But
Yeah.
I'd say I'm a little bit better off at selling, sweet old Miss Betty. And at times with the straight shooters, like, you got to shoot them straight, of course, but yeah, it could be a little confrontational sometimes, just if you don't approach it the right way, I'd say. So
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's such a hard balance. I think that's really one of the core factors of maybe going from 30,000 to 40,000, even 40 to 50. It's like you can adapt like a chameleon to both avatars because they're both need to be sold two different
yep.
ways. So I appreciate that. Appreciate you sharing that. I think that's a great analysis. One thing that I was thinking through was, do you ever have like a question that like internally, if they respond a specific way, you're like, okay, I'm probably going to sell this person. Is there a question that you ask or any trigger points or like any mental images that you are able to make when like someone's like they respond this way and you're like, okay, this is gonna
Mhm.
be a buyer. What would that typically sound like, or what are you looking for there?
Yeah. I mean, at times you can definitely, it's not always the case, but you can definitely tell when someone is kind of ready to buy compared to somebody maybe, if you want to call them like a tire kicker, or just like somebody that's been searching around for a long time. But I'd say like, especially during the discovery portion of it, like if you're able to really get the pain out of that person and not just get those like surface level answers, if they're actually opening up and you can hear it in their voice, like they're
Mhm.
getting emotional about it. Like I even had someone yesterday to where I was asking those questions and they actually like broke down crying at that point. So, and it's kind of interesting because I actually didn't even close them. They actually gave me, I need to think about it with the daughter, which is quite interesting. But yeah, there's certain things like that where you can kind of just hear it in their tonality, like that they're ready to buy.
Mhm.
Like they're not giving you any pushback. Like,
Sure.
oh yeah, I don't know, I just been looking around for a while, but I'm not ready to buy anything today. So, I mean, you can definitely tell the difference. Like when you're gonna have to go, you're gonna have to gather all the ammunition at the
Yeah.
end of the call to get them over the line compared to somebody that just like they're ready. Like you can hear it like, oh yeah, I'm ready to get something. I need to get this in place. Like, this is very important for me. Of course, those people at the end of the call can still say they need to think about it, but I feel like I'm starting to learn like which people that I'm talking to are more ready to buy compared to
Hmm.
other ones that are maybe going to procrastinate and push it off or try to. That's just kind of our job to, of course, get them over the line. And you're not always going to do that, but just with the way we have everything set up, as long as you follow that process, with the objection handling
Yeah.
and ask every question in the script. I mean, there's times where I try not to, but deviate a little bit off script, and then those are the ones like if you let's say I don't close and I'm like, okay, well, guess what? I need to really make sure I'm disciplined and asking every single question, no matter what. Like, no matter if you feel like they're going to hang up on you. Yeah. So hopefully that touched on a lot of things
Yeah,
there, but
that's so good. I appreciate you sharing that. And
yeah.
yeah, it gives a lot of people context to like, follow the script as well. How important bringing the platoon here, how important is it to have like a team around you or like people that are going to be in your corner in like an industry like life insurance? Like how has that impacted
Mhm.
things for you? And do you
Yeah.
think it's crucial or like is it helpful? Like what are your thoughts? Because when
Yeah.
I first started, man, it was lonely. It was a lonely business. I had like one or two people that were like I could lean on, but what does that mean for you?
Yeah.
And
I'd say, I mean, we have, different teams here, however many people, 7, 10 people per team. And having especially like a sales trainer that has proven to have mastered the process here is super beneficial. Somebody that's going to hold you accountable, someone that's going to do your call reviews and do one-on-ones, however many times a week. Just having people there surrounded by you that have different experiences. We're all doing the same thing every day, but just having people that are just, you're surrounded by people that want to win, they want to learn, they want to get
Mhm.
better. And I feel like that is a huge thing to have. That's super beneficial. Just having other people to lift you up when maybe you're having a tough day, having other people listening to your actual call while you're, on the call and kind of giving you feedback in real time. I don't think there's anything that could match that. And just having other people that are winning that's surrounded by you. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing compared to it. So I would say it's super important to have that, especially just leaders like yourself running like a very uh, good establishment where we're very ethical and how we sell and making sure that we're putting the people in the very best position possible that they'd qualify for, making sure that we're representing them right, and not putting them in fraudulent policies. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, not to call anybody out in the industry, but I mean, there's like the good cops and the bad cops in this industry, and
Yeah.
I'm just glad to be working with individuals that care about putting people in a good position, doing things
Sure.
the right way, how it should be done. So kind of got off on a tangent there, but yeah, just
Right.
being surrounded by a team, winning culture is very important in your success as an agent, I'd say.
Really neat. Yeah. I think that's so crucial. Thankful for all the leaders that have helped, pour into you, but you're doing all the hard work and all the lifting, but we'll end with, just some insight now that you have a different perspective in the industry and like, what would be, I guess, something that you would maybe share or like, what would be some signs that if you were like working a full-time role right now looking to get life insurance and maybe you have the
Mhm.
skepticism like, hey, this is going to work, what would be some questions that you would ask maybe in the interview process or things that you would
Mhm.
look for in your vetting process of working with like a legit company? What would you kind of like screen for so that someone doesn't make a mistake and join a company that they shouldn't?
Yeah, um, I would say, there's you have a lot of videos online. Like, it's kind of crazy that I'm getting interviewed. I had seen other agents, I mean, even a year ago, and I was like, wow, like how are they doing it? It seems like they're succeeding and things like that.
Sure.
And I think just having a strong, I guess, leadership, just like yourself and Micah and the rest of the team, just kind of going with an agency where you can kind of see from the outside. You don't know all that's going on the inside, of course, but the way that it's presented on the outside, I guess, is just that um, you care about agents and you want them to succeed and you want them get to the highest level.
Yeah.
So I guess, certain questions I guess you would ask an agency is, I'm trying to think of something good here, Peter.
No, it
um,
sounds, I mean, I can kind of
yeah,
interpret what you're saying if you don't mind. It's like
yeah,
you have to make sure the person that's leading the organization is like legit, right? Like
yeah, I'd
I'm
say,
assuming
mhm.
um there's a
And
lot of BS and smoke, but what were you gonna say there?
yeah, I mean, it's hard to really know. I mean, because there's certain people that they put on a good front. Not to call anybody out, of course, but it's not always what it's made out to be, I guess. So I'm not sure what other establishment. I mean, I'm sure there's a few that they're all legitimate and things like that, but it's kind of hard to find that. Um, and I'm just trying to think of like how could you, I guess, interview them before go all in on something like.
Were you talking to agents before you work with us? Like, for example, were you
Yeah,
yeah, like would that be something that you could do?
yeah, I would say that.
Yeah,
I definitely I had a little bit of a hard time trying to get a hold of anybody in this. I mean, it's kind of I was trying to like find them on Instagram and things like that, but I did reach out to a few. There was another agent that was here, just kind of asking him about it, and that actually helped, give me a stronger belief in that I'm joining an organization that's actually legitimate. Just kind of reaching out to somebody else. So I'd say that's probably a huge thing,
yeah,
is
that's
to reach out to somebody that's on the inside, that's an agent that's actually, doing it and succeeding, and kind of, you can see some testimonies on YouTube like that, and but you could just see as well. I'm just the way that you're recruited into it, especially here. There's a lot of different, I guess, interviewing processes. It's like you can't just get in here. You have to go through a very extensive process and
sure.
onboarding and things before, like, because you're vetted. They want to make sure that you are recruiting agents that want to do this, I guess, and not just trying to find a get rich quick scheme, I guess. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's funny.
hopefully that answered the question there.
No, that's great. Yeah, I literally had a guy yesterday in his second interview with me. He was like, he literally said in front of everyone, was like, I don't know, this was so weird. I literally spoke to someone. They didn't ask me any interview questions, and they told me I got the job. I was like,
Oh,
bro, I was
wow.
like, you probably should be careful. So they like,
Yeah.
yeah. So good vetting, that's important.
Yeah, it was. I'll be honest with you. I mean, compared to anything else, I mean, it was pretty difficult to get through it. Maybe it was just me, but
Yeah,
there's a good reason for that, of course. And I mean, some people that even get through that process, unfortunately, they don't make it. But I mean, at least, they learn a lot from this experience, I'd say.
sure.
I mean, even if I didn't make it the first 3 weeks that I was here, which I'm thankful I did, I would have taken a lot from this actual, the first 3 weeks in the learning process of just being surrounded, by
Yeah,
you guys. So very
absolutely.
thankful.
Yeah, we're grateful to have you, and thanks for leading the way. And we'll kind of end there. I think hopefully, if anybody, yeah, you know, I don't know, Mason, if you want to share, but like if anyone reached out to you, they can hit Mason up, learn his ways, and yeah, dude, thanks for being a great example of what's possible, and hopefully breaking the beliefs for a lot of people that are like on the fence. Should I do this or should I not? So I appreciate you.
Right. Yeah. I'd say just, I mean, be willing, especially to put in a lot of work in the beginning. Like it's not easy being an agent, especially talking, to the people. Like I love the people that we talk to, of course, but it could be pretty hard on your mindset. Some days you're talking to people that maybe aren't in the best health, and they're not the most positive people. So you just have to have a very thick skin, and just, I'd say, yeah, just
Absolutely.
yeah, hopefully that end it
Yeah.
there. You can